This is my home electric furnace. We have a blower up here. Our electrical components down here with heating coils. It's a 22 kilowatt or 75,000 BTU furnace. Air is drawn in through the blower and runs through the coils. Electric furnaces have a 95 to 100% efficiency. And this is a 1,700 square foot home. Hello, I'm Robert Baker.
Jesse Barnes.
We're determining the heat loss of my house. It's a manufactured house, nice square shape, nothing crazy. Temperature outside right now is roughly 32 degrees Fahrenheit. Inside the house we're keeping it at a nice 70 degrees. What we've done here, we're calculating the loss of my home based off of the type insulation that we are assuming. We're also making a few other assumptions, such as we're not calculating the windows in the home. The mass is constant, and our insulation we're assuming is R13. Throughout the whole house, we're just assuming that it's just 100% insulation. So what we have here is our area of the home, which we've determined based off all the walls, the roof, to be 2,830 feet square worth of walls. We have the temperature difference inside to outside, and we have our R13.
It is the thermal rating value of a wall.
Of the R13 insulation. So right now we're calculating a loss of 8,273.21 BTUs an hour. Okay, so previously we determined our home heat loss based off the insulation in the home if it was R13 and the entire home was covered in R13. We know that not to be true. We have windows, we have doors. So what we have now is our updated with insulation, glass, and we also included the floor. The area of the house, the area of the floor is 1,700 square foot. We have that here. Crawl space is roughly around 50 degrees, so it's a 20 degree difference between inside and below the home. Using the same R13 material, we have a heat loss of 684,000 BTUs an hour. Now including the glass and the windows. So we broke it down between the glass and the air inside the windows. We have roughly about 1/8 of an inch of glass in the windows and then 1/2 inch of air. There's 200 square feet of windows in my home. So adding these two together, we have 583,000 BTU an hour loss just on the glass, and the air 255,000. If we add all of these together, plus our loss from the insulation that we previously came up with, which we've updated at minus 200 square foot for the windows, and added the floors, we end up with 1,230,835 BTUs an hour of loss, which is 341 BTUs a second. So here we have our furnace input and cost. We ran the furnace for a while, timed it, how long it would keep the house at a constant temperature of 70 degrees. In that time, of course it's still really cold outside. It ran for 420 seconds, and then it was off for 810 seconds before it kicked back on. We just kind of extrapolated from this. The output of the furnace was 22 kilojoules per second. We multiplied that times the time that it ran, giving us an output of 2.566 kilowatt hours. We then opened this up for the full hour. The time it ran, the kilowatt hours, and how much it would have ran, and how much power it would have used. 7.51 kilowatt hours per the hour. We then opened this up for the month, so it ended up for the whole month. If it was to run constantly, if it was constantly 32 degrees outside and we ran it constantly at 70 degrees, we would end up using 5,407 kilowatt hours per month. Again, this is assuming it's constantly on. There's no other inputs going into the home, and the temperature is constantly 32 degrees outside. As far as cost to me, the RMC charges $0.1038 dollars for 1 kilowatt hour. With the 5,407 kilowatt hours per month that I use, it would cost me $561 a month to run my furnace like this. That's not the case, hopefully, this winter.
Alrighty, so now we're going through the efficiency of the house. So we have the input we calculated before. That was 7.51 kilowatt hours per hour. Converted that's 25,625.18 BTUs per hour. Through the Q loss, which we found before, was 1,230,000 some odd BTUs per hour. The efficiency would be Q in divided by Q loss. Through that, it's 2.08%. Now, this all is just through the heating system. This does not take into account to people being in the house, lighting, refrigerator, water heater, stuff along this nature.
We also found a bunch of Q outs, I guess you'd call them, like a giant gap in the front door of the house where a lot of air is coming in and out, which I'm going to fix. Just looking over the windows and such, I could tell that everything needs to be recaulked. You're getting a lot of cold air moving through. So thank you for making us do this so that I can make my home more efficient for the winter.
Now, with this electric furnace and this 2% efficiency, there are different things in the house to consider that could produce heat and release it into this system. Here we have a crack in the door walking in. Even though this crack is very small, air can flow across the system boundary, carrying heat with it as a heat loss. Here we have a refrigerator and a dishwasher. Both of these release heat as they operate. Now, a fridge runs continuously, whereas a dishwasher does not, but the principle still applies. Other components to consider, one being the water heater that produces heat. You also have lights in the house. As it being close to Christmas time, you have Christmas lights, different indoor lights that do produce heat. You also have people in the house. A person on average produces about 350,000 joules or 350 kilojoules per hour. That is other Q ins into the system to be considered.